I haven't told this story in 7 years. Not to therapists, not to new friends, not even to my family who kept asking why I wouldn't go camping anymore. But 3 hikers went missing last month in the same stretch of Pennsylvania woods where we went in 2017. And I can't stay quiet anymore. If you're planning a camping trip, if you're thinking about geocaching in rural Appalachia, if you've heard stories about an abandoned ranger station off Route 44, don't go. Please just don't go. June 2017. 5 of us piled into Marcus's Jeep on a Friday afternoon, excited about a weekend geocaching expedition. Marcus had been planning it for months, obsessing over topographic maps and GPS coordinates. He'd found references to an old ranger station deep in the woods, supposedly abandoned since the 80s, with a geocache hidden nearby that only 12 people had ever logged finding. This is going to be legendary, Marcus said, adjusting his rearview mirror for the 3rd time. He always did that when he was excited. David rode shotgun, already fiddling with his camera settings. Natural light's going to be perfect this time of year. Golden hour through the trees. I sat in back between Ryan and Seth. Ryan wouldn't shut up, cracking jokes about bears and serial killers. Seth barely said anything, just stared out the window at the mountains rising around us. That was normal for Seth. He was the quiet one, had been since high school. We left the highway around 4, following increasingly narrow roads until we hit the old logging trail Marcus had marked. The Jeep bounced over ruts and rocks for another 20 minutes before Marcus parked in a clearing. From here we hike, he announced, shouldering his massive pack. About 1/3 of a mile northeast. The woods were beautiful, I'll give them that. Afternoon sunlight filtered through oak and maple leaves, turning everything amber and green. Birds sang, a creek bubbled somewhere nearby. It felt like the opening scene of a nature documentary, not a horror story. But Ryan couldn't help himself. As we hiked single file through the undergrowth, he started telling us about the local legend he'd found online. So apparently there's this thing called the stagman, Ryan said, pushing aside a low branch. Started back in the 70s. Hunters kept reporting this creature with a massive rack of antlers, like a stag, but walking upright. Said it would mimic voices to lure people deeper into the woods. Come on, David said, snapping photos as he walked. Classic campfire story, I'm just saying what I read. People found axe marks on trees way too high for a person to reach. Hair stuck to abandoned buildings, coarse stuff not human. And there were disappearances, Marcus laughed. You're trying to freak us out before we even set up camp. Is it working? No, I said. But something about the story stuck with me. Maybe it was the way the shadows were getting longer. We found the ranger station just before 5. The building slumped against the hillside like something dying, its green paint peeling in long strips. Windows gaped empty, glass scattered on the ground like teeth. Graffiti covered the walls, names, dates, crude drawings. Perfect, Marcus said, already pulling out his GPS. Cache should be within 100 feet of here. We dropped our packs and explored. Most of the station was what you'd expect, rotting furniture, water damage, evidence of squatters and teenagers partying. But Seth stopped in the main room, his nose wrinkling. You guys smell that? We all paused. There was something, faint but distinctly wrong. Something died here, Seth said quietly. It wasn't just death, though. It was wet fur mixed with decay, thick and organic. The kind of smell that coats the back of your throat. David found the room at the end of the hall. He stood in the doorway for a long moment before saying, guys, animal bones covered the floor. Small ones, mostly rabbits, squirrels, birds, but they weren't scattered randomly. Someone had arranged them in patterns, concentric circles radiating from the center of the room. Deep scratches gouged the wooden walls, running parallel like claw marks. Tufts of coarse, dark hair caught in the splinters. What the hell, Ryan whispered. The smell was strongest here, overwhelming. I felt my lunch rising. We should go, I said. Nobody argued. We grabbed our packs and left quickly, Marcus not even bothering to finish logging the geocache. The light had gone gray, that flat quality that comes right before dusk. The woods felt different suddenly, oppressive, like something was pressing down on us from above. We practically ran back to our campsite. For about an hour after we got the fire going, everything felt better. We cooked hot dogs, made stupid jokes, tried to laugh off the ranger station. But then the smell came back. It drifted through our campsite like fog, that same wet fur and rot. Stronger than before, moving. I swear to God it circled us, coming from different directions. Then we heard the footfalls, heavy, deliberate, branches snapping in the darkness just beyond our firelight. Ryan stood up fast, his hot dog falling into the dirt. Did you hear that? Someone just called my name. What are you talking about? Marcus said. Someone out there, they said, Ryan, clear as day. We all went quiet listening. That's when I heard it, my mother's voice, exactly as I remembered from childhood, calling from somewhere in the trees. Dinner's ready, sweetheart, come inside, the same sing-song tone she'd used every evening. But I was 26 years old, my mother was 3 states away. And there was something underneath the voice, something guttural and wrong, like an animal trying to shape human sounds. Marcus, a woman's voice called from a different direction. Marcus William Chen, answer me right now, his sister's voice, his full name. Dad, David whispered, turning toward the darkness. That's my dad's voice, Seth heard his ex-girlfriend. Each of us heard someone different, all the voices coming from the woods around us, circling, calling. David grabbed his flashlight and swept it across the tree line. The beam caught something for just a second, massive hunched shoulders. A crown of branching antlers spreading wide. Eyes reflecting the light like a predator's. Then it was gone. We need to leave, Ryan said. Right now. It's too dark, Marcus argued, trying to sound rational. We could get lost, hurt ourselves. It's probably just a deer or someone messing with us. That wasn't a deer, we debated for 30 minutes. Leave now through unfamiliar woods and darkness, or stay by the fire until first light. We decided to wait, God help us, we decided to wait. The circling continued all night. At 1:30 a.m. we heard breathing sounds, low and human laughter, branches snapping closer and closer to our fire. Dawn came at 5:45. Pale gray light filtered through the trees, birds started singing, and the oppressive weight lifted. We packed frantically, barely speaking, hiking bunched together back to the Jeep. When we reached the vehicles, the relief was overwhelming. We were safe, we'd made it. We drove in silence for 20 minutes before pulling into a roadside cafe. I looked around at my 4 friends in the parking lot, Marcus, David, Ryan, Seth. All accounted for, all safe, so why did my stomach turn over? The cafe was called Miller's Rest, one of those places with checkered tablecloths and coffee that tastes like burnt water. We slid into a corner booth, ordered pancakes none of us would eat. Seth sat across from me and I watched him pick up his fork. He held it like a child learning to use utensils, fingers wrapped awkwardly around the handle. Remember that Radiohead concert last summer, Seth said, smiling. When Marcus crowd-surfed and lost his shoe, Marcus laughed. God, I was so drunk, my blood went cold, we never went to a Radiohead concert. I'd been out of state last summer visiting my grandmother, Seth knew that. Seth had helped me pick out a gift to bring her. I stared at the thing across from me. Its smile was too wide, stretching just past where a normal mouth should stop. The eyes were slightly off-center, like a painting hung crooked. You're not Seth, the words came out louder than I intended. The table went silent. The thing's smile didn't waver. What are you talking about? David said. I reached across the table and grabbed its arm. The skin was cold, corpse cold, like touching meat pulled from a freezer. This isn't Seth, look at him, really look. Dude, you need sleep, Ryan said quietly. Marcus put his hand on my shoulder. The woods messed with all of us. Let's just get home. We never went to a Radiohead concert, my voice cracked. We never went. The thing that looked like Seth tilted its head, still smiling. You're scaring me, man. In the parking lot, Marcus tried reason. David dismissed me entirely. Ryan looked uncertain but said nothing. I knew with absolute certainty that my friend was still in those woods. Fine, Marcus finally said. We'll go back and prove nothing's there. Will that help? Only Marcus and the thing came with me. 25-minute drive in suffocating silence. The thing sat in the back seat, unnaturally still, not fidgeting or checking its phone. Just staring. What did you leave behind? Marcus asked as we hiked in. I hadn't left anything behind. I couldn't remember leaving anything. The campsite was empty, cold ashes, trampled ground, nothing else. See, Marcus spread his hands. Nothing, we need to search deeper. For what? I didn't know. I just knew we found the tracks near the creek. Cloven hoofprints pressed deep into soft mud, each print the size of my hand. Marcus went quiet, studying them. The ravine opened suddenly, an 18-foot drop with steep slopes. Sounds came from the bottom, whimpering, human whimpering. The descent was treacherous. Roots gave way. Marcus kept asking what the hell we were doing. At the bottom, buried in leaves, we found Seth, the real Seth. His leg bent at an impossible angle, compound fracture with bone pushing through skin. His face was gray, lips cracked and bleeding. He'd been there since 2 a.m. It grabbed me during my watch, he whispered, hand over my mouth, dragged me. I couldn't scream. Behind us, the other Seth stood at the ravine's edge. As we watched, its shoulders began to broaden, spine curving backward with wet popping sounds. The human shape collapsed like a tent losing its poles. Antlers pushed through the skull, 12 points spreading wide. The face elongated into a stag's muzzle, but the eyes stayed forward-facing, predator eyes, black with no whites. Fur spread across the body, 7 feet tall now, bipedal, arms too long, ending in hands that were neither hoof nor human. It descended slowly, taking its time, no phone signal, it had known we'd come back. We ran along the creek bed, Marcus and I supporting Seth's weight between us. The creek forked, we chose wrong, heading deeper into the ravine. Heavy footfalls echoed above us on the ridge. It was circling ahead, cutting off escape. Leave me, Seth said. Marcus refused. The creature dropped into the ravine. Crashed into Marcus, I swung a branch, no effect. Marcus tackled it, was thrown against the rock face with a sound like dropped fruit. Run, I dragged Seth away. Behind us, Marcus was fighting, screaming. Then the screams cut to wet tearing sounds, then silence. We found a marked trail. Gravel path maintained and clear. The creature stood where forest met trail, watching. It wouldn't cross, just stepped back into the trees. A ranger found us an hour later. At the hospital, I told police a bear attacked us. Marcus fought it off. We got separated. The officer returned, confused. Your friend Marcus has been at the cafe for 4 hours. He's worried about you. That was 7 years ago. I watch Marcus for signs of wrongness, find nothing obvious. Seth recovered fully. David and Ryan think I had a breakdown. We agreed never to speak of it again. But hikers are missing now in that same area. Officials blame terrain and weather. I'm telling you this because it's still out there. Because I hear Marcus's voice sometimes, just slightly wrong. Because I don't know if the woods rewrote reality or if something is sitting across from me at dinner,